Warrior, look around you. The truth is written in plain sight, though few dare to read it. The ones who command respect are not the kindest. The ones who silence a room are not the loudest. The ones who win again and again are not always the brightest. They carry something else, an inheritance of power, passed down through centuries, sharpened by minds darker and keener than the rest. There was once a man whose very name became a curse and a crown. Niccolo Machiavelli. Half a millennium later, his shadow still stalks the corridors of power. Say his name, and you summon whispers of manipulation, of cunning, of ruthless mastery. But here is what most people never understand. Influence itself is not evil, it is a tool. Fire is not evil, it burns or it warms depending on the hand that wields it. The knife is not evil, it can cut bread or it can cut throats. So too with influence. The weak cry that it corrupts. The strong know it simply reveals. And today, you will learn 9 weapons of psychology. Not soft advice, not polite lessons, weapons. The kind that decide whether you are the manipulator or the manipulated. Whether you bend reality or reality bends you. These are the truths that most will hear and quickly forget, retreating to their cages, because it is easier to be a victim than a victor. Do not be most people. Before we begin, swear something to yourself. Post it in your mind, or write it in the blood of your will. I choose power over being liked. Say it again until it stings. Because fairness is a leash, mercy is a trap, and hesitation? Hesitation is suicide. The first weapon is simple, but it destroys those who never see it. People don't love difference, they love reflection. They don't fall for what challenges them. They fall for what feels like themselves in another's skin. And so, the fool shouts his uniqueness. He tries to dazzle with his difference. But the master knows mirroring is irresistible. Become their echo, their reflection, their double. Who do you trust most? Think. Is it the stranger who feels foreign, alien, dissonant? Or is it the one who shares your rhythms, your speech, your tempo? The one who talks like you, who moves like you, who feels like you? That is no accident. It is a trap older than kings. Machiavelli himself warned that men judge with their eyes, not with their hands. They see surfaces. They are blind to depth. They trust the familiar mask more than the unfamiliar truth. So copy them, subtly, never clumsy, never obvious. If they lean forward, you lean forward. If they pause, you pause. If they favor certain words, make those words your own. Slowly, silently, stitch yourself into the fabric of their being until they cannot tell where they end and you begin. Then, once the mirror is perfect, turn it. Lead them where you want them to go, and they will follow willingly, because to them, it will feel like following themselves. This is why the powerful seem to be everyone's friend. Why they make each man and woman feel like they are speaking to a reflection of their best self. It is not kindness. It is strategy. But reflection alone is not enough. The second weapon is scarcity. And here most stumble again. They believe that availability equals value. They believe that by being present, by being easy, by being constant, they will be wanted. Fools. Nothing rare is found in abundance. The most precious things in life are scarce, exclusive, difficult to reach. Why should you be any different if you are everywhere? You are worthless. If you are always ready, you are taken for granted. Machiavelli himself said that it is safer to be feared than loved, for love can fade, but fear lingers. Scarcity is the language of fear, the fear of loss, the fear of missing out, the fear of exclusion. So do not always answer the call at once. Even if your hand hovers above the phone, wait. Say, Thursday works when you are free today. Let them hunger. Let them ache. When you do give your full attention, it becomes a feast. When you vanish, it becomes a famine. People will crawl across deserts for one drop of what you ration wisely. Mystery is magnetic. The unknown is irresistible. Do not show all your cards, not even half. Reveal yourself in layers, slowly, like a labyrinth that deepens with every step. Sometimes respond quickly, sometimes vanish. Let them wonder, let them guess. Uncertainty keeps them awake at night. You do not want them to feel ignored. You want them to feel fortunate when you appear, to feel lucky when they gain your time. The truth is ancient and merciless. People want what they cannot easily have. Become scarce, and you will become priceless. But there is a third weapon, sharper than both. Logic persuades no one. Arguments win no battles. People are not machines of reason. They are storms of emotion. And whoever controls the storm controls the ship. Most fools try to dominate with facts. The true masters know. Every decision is made in the heart first and justified with logic later. Control the emotion, and the logic bends itself to you. Machiavelli wrote of the lion and the fox. The lion to terrify, the fox to outwit. You must be both. The lion roars with fear, the fox whispers with desire. Do not command people to do what you want. Make them want it. Use laws to chain them. People will do almost anything to avoid losing what they believe is theirs. Frame your request not as a gain, but as something they will lose if they refuse. Use ego to bind them. Make them feel like heroes for choosing your path. Feed their hunger for importance until they walk into your snare smiling. Give them fragments of truth, never the whole. Incomplete information is an itch the mind cannot resist scratching. Let them chase the missing piece straight into your hand. Use time against them. Deadlines, urgency, pressure. They burn away hesitation. Act, now or lose forever. That is a voice people obey. But here lies the true elegance. Never appear to be leading. Instead of barking orders, ask questions. What do you think would happen if we tried this? Plant seeds in their soil, and let them believe the fruit was theirs all along. The one who controls emotion does not need chains. His captives walk freely into the cage. The fourth weapon is silence disguised as power, information. Knowledge is currency, and fools spend it like water. They talk, they reveal, they boast. They hand you the keys to their own destruction without knowing it. Do not be them. Gather information like a miser gathers gold. Hoard it. Guard it. Spend it only when the profit is certain. Machiavelli knew. Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few know what you truly are. Keep it that way. The less they know, the more power you hold. Ask and people will tell you everything, if you listen. People crave to talk about themselves. They pour out their fears, their desires, their weaknesses. Note it, store it. Every confession is a blade for you to wield later. Share less than you learn. Give them crumbs so they offer you banquets. Remember, the same piece of knowledge worthless today can become priceless tomorrow. Wait. Time is the multiplier. Research your enemies, your rivals, your friends. Know their victories, their failures, their debts. Every detail is a lever. Every truth a weapon. The one with the clearest picture makes the strongest moves. And in the game of power, the strongest moves decide everything. The fifth weapon is more subtle, yet deadly. Status. Most fools climb by tearing others down. They insult, they belittle, they destroy. This is weakness disguised as strength. For every enemy you humiliate, you create a saboteur. The true master elevates others, not out of kindness, but strategy. When you raise someone, when you make them shine, they bind themselves to you. Their success becomes your success. Their loyalty becomes your armor. Machiavelli wrote that the measure of a ruler is the quality of the men around him. Weak rulers choose weak allies. Strong rulers elevate the strong, and in doing so, multiply their own might. Give credit in public. It costs you nothing, but it buys you devotion. Correct in private. Spare the ego its bloodbath. Build armies not of slaves, but of allies, men, and women who rise with you and will protect the hand that lifted them. Choose wisely whom you elevate, only those who can return the favor. The rest, leave in the shadows. The greatest power is not to stand alone on the mountain, but to stand, surrounded by those who believe their own fortune is tied to yours. That is not weakness, it is empire, and still, the arsenal grows. For the sixth weapon is momentum. Human beings are drawn to winners. It is instinct older than civilization. The herd flees weakness. It clings to strength. People want to believe in inevitability. And once they believe you cannot fail, they will help ensure you do not fail. Do not whine about your obstacles. Display them as temporary trials, roadblocks on the march to destiny. Every small victory is a banner. Every step forward convinces them the final triumph is certain. Speak not in terms of, I hope, but in terms of, I will. When I achieve this. When it happens. Your language must drip with inevitability. Build visibly. Collect tools, skills, alliances. Show progress, even if small. Create the prophecy of your own success, and watch as others rush to fulfill it for you. Do not hide your challenges. Display them as scars, not wounds. Call them temporary storms on an unstoppable voyage. Speak of them as stepping stones, not walls. People are drawn to inevitability, to the scent of victory in advance. And when they believe you cannot fail, they begin to invest their energy, their resources, their loyalty to ensure you do not fail. That is the secret of momentum. It is not only built by you, it is built by them. But beware. False inevitability collapses like rotten wood. Overpromise, underdeliver, and the mask shatters. Nothing destroys power faster than being revealed as a fraud. To wield inevitability, you must deliver enough victories to feed the prophecy. You must build a self-fulfilling myth. I cannot be stopped. And now we arrive at the seventh weapon, the dependency web. The amateur worships independence. He thinks power is freedom from others, but influence does not grow in isolation. True mastery is when others depend on you, when their survival, their ambitions, their daily comforts are tied to your existence. That is when you are irreplaceable. Machiavelli wrote that those who cling to ideals instead of realities destroy themselves. The reality is simple. If you want power, stop chasing independence alone. Build webs of dependency. Become the axis around which others revolve. Develop skills they cannot match, knowledge they will not pursue, access they cannot buy. Become the one who can solve the problems no one else touches. Be the bridge between people who would otherwise remain strangers. Collect favors, and then collect the loyalty that comes with them, but do not become enslaved to your own web. If one person holds all you need, then you are the pawn, not the master. Spread your roots wide. Build multiple incomes, multiple allies, multiple escape routes. A spider with only one thread is easily destroyed. A spider with many threads survives any storm. Imagine it. Friends who depend on your wisdom. Colleagues who depend on your connections. Communities that depend on your ability to organize, to repair, to create. Each thread pulls them closer. Each dependency strengthens your leverage. The one who is needed is the one who cannot be discarded. The one who is irreplaceable rules. The eighth weapon is the deadliest of illusions, reality itself. Most men and women accept the world as it is presented to them. They live inside the cages others built. They never ask who wrote the script of their lives. They never question why they believe what they believe. And so they are slaves. But the masters, the masters do not accept reality. They shape it. They understand perception is more powerful than truth. They know that if you can define what is normal, what is acceptable, what is possible, then you own the minds of those who live inside that frame. Machiavelli said that men are so simple, so eager to obey, that deceivers will never lack for those willing to be deceived. Do not think of deception as lies alone. Think of it as framing. Present the same event as a threat and people will run. Present it as an opportunity and people will march. The situation did not change, only the frame did. So when you move, do not ask permission. Do not apologize. Act as if your way is the natural way. Speak in words that shape the story. Call failures lessons. Call problems tests. Call risks opportunities. Gradually, quietly, you shift what is normal until they do not even realize they have accepted your reality. Paint futures they cannot resist. This is where we are going. This is what we can achieve. People do not follow plans, they follow visions. They must see the destination before they will take the road, and when you control the vision, you control the path. Reality is more flexible than they imagine. The question is never, what is true? The question is always, whose truth? Will we believe? Shape the truth. Shape the frame. Shape the world. And now we come to the ninth weapon. The final weapon. The one that separates temporary influence from immortality. It is the immortality strategy. Most people claw for personal power. They want respect for themselves, recognition for themselves, success for themselves. But all such power dies with them. Their influence ends when their breath does. The true master builds systems, ideas, structures, legacies. Machiavelli argued, it is safer to be feared than loved. But there is something greater than both, to be remembered. Fear dies with distance, love fades with time, systems endure, ideas outlive flesh. Institutions march across centuries, so codify your methods. Write them, record them, teach them. Make your lessons eternal. Build communities, schools, organizations that carry your vision long after your body is dust. Do not just solve problems for yourself. Create frameworks that allow others to solve them. When they use your system, they extend your shadow. When they teach your ideas, they extend your voice. Influence influencers. Mentor leaders, plant seeds, in the minds of those who themselves will shape thousands. That is immortality. When you no longer need to be present for your influence to dominate the room. When your ideas continue commanding even in your absence. When you are gone, but not gone. And here, warrior, is where the circle closes. You now hold 9 weapons, each sharper than steel. Reflection, scarcity, emotion, information, elevation, momentum, dependency, reality, immortality. Together, they form the arsenal of true power. But hear me clearly. Knowledge without action is nothing but entertainment. A pleasant story to soothe the weak. You stand at the fork of 2 paths. The first path is cowardice. Close this lesson. Nod to yourself. Feel wise and change nothing. Return to your old life where others play games of influence upon you, and you remain the pawn. That is the choice of 99 out of 100. That is why the masses remain masses. The second path is ruthless. Choose one weapon, just one, and use it today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Mirror someone and watch them soften. Create scarcity and watch desire rise. Shape a reality and watch others obey it. Action is the only proof of power. Most will not act. Most never do. They will watch, they will nod, they will forget. But you are not most people. You are still here, still listening, still sharpening the blade. Prove you are different. Post the oath once more where it cannot be ignored. I choose power over being liked, because those who choose to be liked are forgotten. They vanish like smoke. Those who choose power, those who dare to be respected more than loved, those are the ones who bend history. For 30 days, test this. Pick one weapon and apply it. Document it. Observe the changes in how others treat you, how doors open, how respect hardens around you like armor. Then return and tell what you found, because something will change. It always does. 500 years ago, Machiavelli wrote of power because he understood its eternal truth. The world is not ruled by chance or kindness. It is ruled by those who understand human nature and are bold enough to use it. Those who master influence command. Those who ignore it serve. You now understand. The question is, will you wield it? Or will you pretend ignorance, as the sheep do, and let others carve your fate? Make your choice, warrior. Build systems, shape realities, become irreplaceable, create inevitability, leave scars upon time itself. Welcome to real power.